and we
free phone deal to get people like upgrade into 5G capable phones that's been going on, which is sort of like a slap at what T-Mobile's been doing. And then we're also going to be discussing just about other topics that have been coming out in regards to Verizon today.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good show. Lots of Verizon news. That was pretty much what was hyped this week, and I think we should kind of dive right into it. The first big story. Okay, Verizon hyped this up, Dennis. I know you had a full schedule. Your days were packed, but what Verizon did is they hyped up an announcement. They said something exciting is coming on Tuesday. Okay, great. Edge of my seat, waiting for it. I was messaging Sneed, trying to get the download on what was happening. And the news came out. And it was an announcement Verizon had made literally months ago. So on March 31st, okay, the day before April 1st, this was kind of Verizon's marketing ploy. You broke your phone, so Verizon is breaking the rules. The promotional text reads, for the first time ever, for new and existing customers, trade in your cracked or water-damaged phone and get up to $1,000 off our best 5G phones with a port-in and select unlimited plans. And they did hashtag that's no joke because it was April Fool's when they launched this campaign. And that, Dennis, brings us to the exciting news this week, and that was the exact same thing, actually. If you traded in a broken device, you could get a 5G phone for free on their unlimited plans. So that was basically it.
Well, you know what they say, Stetson? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, I mean it's a crazy good promo. Like it's literally the best. It's literally one of the best promotions going on right now, in my humble opinion. And I personally believe it's way better than what T-Mobile's doing, where they're giving out like the Samsung Galaxy, what is it, A23 or something like that. So I'm all on board for what Verizon's doing. I'm glad they brought it back. Hopefully it's here to stay. I think it's a really clever way to get people on 5G. I do wonder though how important this is going to be, seeing as at the moment Verizon still doesn't really have that much 5G covered. I mean, they got their low band NSA, but as we saw in your testing, I mean, I would argue that's actually worse performance than just being on LTE with Verizon.
100%, Dennis. I mean, there's a couple things going on here. One, we have the head scratcher. Like, why does Verizon want people on 5G if they're going to have a worse experience because it's literally going to be slower? And for my testing and usage, I'm not actually sure if the iPhone is switching between LTE and 5G based on speed. Like, it should know LTE is faster, but I still feel like it's always on 5G.
I mean, did you see the support article that Verizon put out where they straight up said, like, yo, go to your settings and turn off 5G?
I remember that. Yeah, what a day for Verizon. Like, oh, you want better battery life and better performance? Literally turn off 5G on your new 5G phone. So, I don't know. That's a little bit of a head scratcher. As we know, we talked with Roger Ettner from Recon Analytics, and he did mention that transmitting data over 5G technology is cheaper for the carriers than transmitting over LTE. So I'm thinking maybe Verizon is trying to amp up the number of 5G subscribers on their network so that it is a little bit more affordable and cost effective. What are your thoughts on this? Does this make any sense at all?
True, but I think the timing is a little bit wrong. Like, if I was in Verizon's shoes, I'd be trying to push on for this for next year after I have C-band deployed, right? And when more phones come out that support C-band in those various frequencies, right? Right now, it's kind of an odd time to do it. I think Verizon is more so doing this to please shareholders, and trying to drive growth because they've been having quarter after quarter of net losses for postpaid subscribers. And I think this is just more about trying to get more subscribers and to do that mission of getting people off those old limited data plans and onto their more higher paid unlimited plans that they're trying to sell. Because remember, they did say select unlimited plans, which is basically play more, get more.
That's correct. I think I want to say you may be eligible on starter, but I just could be wrong about that. I'm trying to see here.
like 95% sure that Stir doesn't qualify.
Yeah, because they typically do want. So let's see with select unlimited plans. Yeah, the terms and conditions are kind of buried. I would have to take some time to read the fine print here. But to clarify what the promotion is, okay, Dennis, let's say you are a new customer, right? You're not signed up for Verizon right now. Is that correct?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have Verizon.
No, all right. So you could qualify as a new customer, Dennis, if you wanted to. What you're looking at, new customers, you can add a line and you can buy one 5G phone and get another up to $1,000 off, which is kind of a buy one, get one. If you're switching, you can get up to $1,000 off when you switch and trade in your old or damaged phone. That's a little bit more appealing to me because, you can literally buy a phone off of Swappa for less, get basically a free iPhone 12 or a huge discount on an iPhone 12 Pro, and then, get those credits. And it looks like the credits are applied over, it says either 24 or 30 months. So,
yeah, I mean, it ain't it. I mean, this is a great thing that they're doing. Like, again, I think it's a stellar promotion. They should definitely keep it around, and I can definitely seeing it be a win for a lot of consumers that are out there. I am just not the targeted demographic. I mean, we've openly stated I do not like financing, right?
Yep.
I especially do not like trying to take advantage of these deals. I mean, just think about all the promos that AT&T's done in the past and your billing nightmare experience that you have. Verizon, I guarantee, would be no different with trying to chase those gift cards. In fact, on the topic of gift cards, a little off topic, but Fios customer, right? I'm chasing out my free streaming TV box that's supposed to be given to me and my $100 Visa card for getting gigabit internet. So if that's my experience, not trying to dabble with Verizon and get locked into a 30-month contract. I mean, that's really what it is. It's basically being in a contract.
They're like, hey, switch to our service. We'll give you a new phone. And they're basically using the high margins on their cell phone plan to cover the cost of the phone. And because it's a 24-month or 30-month agreement, you're getting locked in for 2 years at a minimum, likely 2.5 years, it sounds like. And then, I don't know, if you're a Verizon customer, it works for you. What are you likely to do? Purchase the next phone, upgrade, stay with them, stay a customer, maybe add more lines. And I will add, this is available for existing customers. The deal just isn't as good. So you can buy one, get one, $1,000 off. That's decent if you wanted to upgrade a couple lines, and you can save up to $700 when you trade in your old or damaged phone. So what I like about Verizon's deal is that it's eligible for newer phones like the iPhone 12, iPhone 12 mini, iPhone 12 Pro, and Samsung's Galaxy S21 series of devices, which is way better than what T-Mobile's offering, their Galaxy A32 5G. Like, that's not going to give the screaming fast performance I think some of our audience and listeners are looking for. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Dennis, who do you think this deal is for, and who do you think Verizon is targeting? Like, is this, I mean, it's literally a rip and copy off of T-Mobile's playbook. Are they targeting T-Mobile customers, AT&T customers? Who do you think they're targeting here?
I think it's a retention method.
Okay.
I think it's a retention method. Like I said, I think it's to get people onto the unlimited plans to please their shareholders and try to stop the bleeding. Right?
They're trying to put Band-Aids on as opposed to, like, I don't know, bringing in new customers. This is retention over acquisition.
And I mean, I think there is some acquisition play here. I mean, if you think about it, if you broke a phone on T-Mobile, right, they're not going to accept it as a trade-in, right? And you want a nice new premium phone. This is a good solution. You might be convinced. I mean, when it comes to mind share, right? Like, of your average day consumer, Verizon still has a very well-renowned reputation for having the best network, right? They've kind of still have that going for them. So I do think it's also to try to acquire new customers. I don't know. I think it's good. Like I said, I hope it sticks around. I hope it is successful for Verizon so that it stays around. And I hope that carriers like AT&T take note and do something similar. And I hope that T-Mobile, comes out with their cheesy marketing and talks about how they're amping up their, their whatever they're calling this like free line deal, and does the same thing, because this is better. I like the fact that Verizon gives you the choice instead of forcing a specific phone on you, which is nice. And I think it's an overall good deal.
Overall good deal. Yeah, I think next I kind of want to talk about, well, we have home internet being offered in more cities. Quickly, in the same article, Verizon actually touched on their upgrades to the 5G network. So they launched in some more cities. Were you able to see this kind of lower down on that article?
Yes.
I think it's pretty nice. So what did they do here?
So they added, it looks like they added ultra wideband into 75 more cities, 13 airports, and 60 plus stadiums and arenas. And they're saying that their 5G nationwide now covers 230 million pops across 2,700 cities.
Those poor people. Oh, man. So I don't know. How do you think Verizon's 5G build out is going in terms of low band and millimeter wave? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. What do you think is the status of Verizon's 5G network right now, Dennis?
I think if you live in a place like Sneed, you're living that good life. Where Verizon has the millimeter wave, it's great, right?
We just got to all move to the CLE. Party at Sneed's house. I think he's got a family bakery or something, so we can all live there. But yeah, I mean,
and in places where they were able to deploy, not C-band, what was the other one? What was the other
CBRS?
CBRS, thank you. And places where Verizon has CBRS on LTE, also living that good life. Like, the CBRS performance that Verizon's been able to eke out is definitely comparable to like what we're seeing from N41 on T-Mobile. So you're living the good life there. In other places where you have like the 5G low band, not so great. I wouldn't want to be on that network.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. Do you think the low-band 5G experience will improve as more and more customers take advantage of this trade-in deal and promotion and actually get 5G devices and start using the 5G network?
I think it's going to get a lot worse.
Because, oh my God, it's going to be the same small slice, but even more congested with more people.
Mm-hmm. I don't think low-band 5G gets better until we go standalone 5G on low-band, and even then, it comes back down to skinny channels or skinny channels. Like, you've seen what N71 5x5 looks like here, because that's what T-Mobile's doing. It's not great. It's terrible. Now, if Verizon came out and deployed, say, a 15 by 15 chunk, okay?
Yeah.
Of band, 17 is what they use, I believe, B block. And they were like, here we go, 5G standalone. I think it would be great. I'm not saying you're going to get insane speeds, but because of the inherent nature of standalone 5G, I think your latency is going to be really low, like 10 millisecond. I think you're going to get usable speeds like 15 to maybe 40 megabits per second down, and maybe like 10 megabits per second up, which is still plenty usable. And I think the overall coverage that comes from that is also going to be good. I think you're going to get some, better coverage out of it.
Yeah. I think those are great points, Dennis. And I think we really just got to wait with Verizon. Like, they're starting to build up hype. I think when they launch C-band is when we'll really start to see their 5G network hopefully take off. Like, that's what I'm rooting for. I'm holding my breath for C-band, waiting for that to be.
I'm 100% confident that Verizon is going to do C-band right, just off the very fact that they're outspending everybody.
I'm down with that. And I think Verizon's network will hopefully speak for itself. And one unique thing here is Verizon has a story. Let me send it to you in the private chat here just so you can take a look. What's kind of nice is as the world is sort of opening up, right? Like, I'm actually flying home end of this month, going home for the 4th of July holiday. I'm fully vaccinated. I know you also got your vaccine shot. So I feel like travel's opening up. Where are people going to be going to as the world opens up? They're going to be going to airports. They're going to be going to bus stations. Maybe they'll be going to stadiums. And then what do you think they're going to find there? Fingers crossed.
Millimeter wave 5G.
Millimeter wave 5G. And hopefully it's a great experience and they get that flavor, that sampling of what the true 5G experience can be. Maybe they like it.
Can I just say a hot take real quick?
Yeah, Dennis, give me your hot take. I always love your hot takes.
I think that code was an interesting business opportunity that most of the carriers didn't take full advantage of.
Dennis, I love where you're going. Tell me more.
So with all of the places like airports and like downtown cities being basically deserted wastelands, this is the perfect time to do construction for cell sites plopping up, to get millimeter wave deployed, get fiber ran, because you don't have to worry about all the traffic and like, getting the permitting to jam all these like roads and stuff like that. Like basically what I'm getting at is like T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T should have all took this as a chance to get their millimeter wave as many places as possible. Then worked on mid-band, then did low-band.
Interesting. I'll use the layer cake analogy. You like cutting down from the top first, like hitting that millimeter wave, then building out for the C-band spectrum, and then doing low-band last.
Yeah, I think that would have been more beneficial. And if you would have did it in that sequence, then, as you got more people on the 5G devices, then it makes a more beneficial difference. Because like right now, I think there's only I think the last statistic I saw was like only like 6% of people have a phone that could support 5G, a plan that has 5G included, and actually make use of it. It's like 6% or something like that in the US, which means that all the spectrum that's being used right now, like band 41, for example, on 5G, as awesome as it is on our speed test, is kind of a waste. It would have been better used and better served on LTE right now, relieving congestion on T-Mobile's horrendous LTE network than it is being on 5G right now, where very few people can use it. And had T-Mobile just left it alone, Band 41 was already deployed in a lot of places already, right? It's not like they just like expanded their coverage, right? All they did was they converted and integrated into the native T-Mobile network. Whereas with my approach, T-Mobile would have densified and got capacity in places they didn't otherwise have.
So, with your approach, they're making meaningful improvements with their approach. I don't know. My hot take to your hot take is with T-Mobile's approach, they made it so if you actually got a 5G device, you could potentially get a noticeable improvement. I think in some areas their coverage has improved, and in areas like my hometown in Longmont, I'm seeing N41 and suddenly getting instead of 100 megs at my house over LTE, like 300 megs over N41.
But my counter hot take to that, as we've clearly seen, is that performance isn't that remarkable to me because AT&T LTE is getting that kind of speeds, right? It goes back to the whole skinny channels be skinny channels things, right? Like if T-Mobile did 60 by 60 band 41, I guarantee you within the margin of like 10%, the performance would have been the same, and the only difference would be latency, and that's it.
Oh, and I get a nice little shiny 5G icon in the top of my phone.
Right, but my point is this. It's a lot easier to flip things around on those macro sites because the infrastructure's already in place, right? It's just a matter of getting the person out there, replacing the panels and so forth. Unless it was a complete like rip and replace, right? Need to do backhaul and stuff like that. Whereas with like think about when an airport's super busy, right? 365 days out of the year. How do you do that without causing interruption to everybody there, right? How do you get full access? Like literally, it was like a desert. There was no one there, so you had open reign. It's like being in a kid's playground all by yourself. You got to do whatever you wanted. If you need to run fiber, you need to run Ethernet cables, whatever. It was open playhouse. I just feel like that would have been a really good opportunity for that, and it would have been a more linear progression like we've seen with other times too, right? Like when LT first rolled out, right? We saw it go to the cities first for very obvious reasons, right? Cities need the extra capacity. It gives the most benefit to the most people, and the infrastructure is typically easier to get put in place, right? And then you expand out into rural, right? And I feel like this 5G deployment has been a little bit interesting. We've been seeing them just trying to get the icon without actually doing the meaningful improvements that come with it.
Yeah, do you think the 5G deployments, or rather the marketing and the flipping of the switch, were all just too early across the board? Like, do you think carriers should have waited, actually built out a robust 5G network, then hit that switch and been like, boom, here you go, you got 5G? Dennis, you're nodding. This is an audio-only format. Can you articulate?
Sorry. Yes. I think we should have seen some wait. Like, okay, here's the scoop. I know 5G was interesting, but I feel like millimeter wave was like one of the first things that was like clearly understood. Like before it even made news headlines, right? Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they should have been deploying millimeter wave, because that really is the only way to get the all the promises that 5G is going to bring, right? Like the ones that we've seen, right? So, over these past 2 years, they should have been having that ready to rip. And like I said, with T-Mobile, as they were doing the integrations, it makes sense for them to do the N41. Like that makes sense because they have to do it because of the merger. Like I understand that. But they shouldn't be ignoring the millimeter wave importance, which is what they're doing, right? They're completely ignoring it, and that's totally a piece of the puzzle, and a very important one at that. Because even though mid-band has a lot of capacity to it, it's still not going to be a substitute for what millimeter wave can do, especially in dense places like airports. So, and then as far as low band is concerned, it's great for coverage, but it's not a substitute for densifying the network, right?
Right. You're literally just you're almost making it worse, I would say, because you're splitting, like with the way it's currently done, you're basically splitting the available spectrum between 5G and LTE, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, effectively speaking, yeah, with NSA, but more so specifically what I was getting at is like, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it all. Like you can't pick a cherry out of it, right? You got to do it all. You got to do millimeter wave, you got to do mid band, you got to do low band. They all have their important purposes for making the 5G experience happen. And right now, no carrier is doing it all. Like Verizon, they're focusing on millimeter wave, which is good because they don't have C band yet. I get it, and they're doing their NSA low band, which is detrimental in my opinion. AT&T doing NSA as well, but I mean, that's about it. And T-Mobile focusing heavily on mid-band, focusing on their low band, totally ignoring millimeter wave.
It is definitely interesting seeing the different strategies play out. I think, yeah, T-Mobile trying to hit as many people as possible, as quickly as possible, I think it was all marketing hype. They wanted to be able to say, we have the best 5G network, we have the 5G network that covers the most people, and they did it. Is it going to be the best build out of the 5G network that we're going to see? I think it's hard to say. I mean, we're basically waiting because Verizon and AT&T literally can't use their mid-band spectrum right now. Like they just got it, they're starting to test it, and we'll hopefully start to see deployments end of this year, early 2022. I think it's just going to be hard to say. But Dennis,
before we get off this topic, I'll say this one more time. T-Mobile has potential, but as in typical T-Mobile fashion, they're cutting corners. Places where they're adding N41, they're not spending the money to improve the backhaul, which is wasted potential spectrum to be utilized, right? Wasted capacity. Verizon, they're doing Verizon stuff, right? Like they're doing things that people would be like, wow, this is real silly, right? What am I going to do with millimeter wave on this one street corner? But I have a feeling as it comes together with time, Verizon is going to end up being in a better position because they're doing the things right. They're adding the backup power supplies. They're running the fiber, their own fiber, not leasing it, running their own. And then AT&T, they've been in the biz since Bell Telephone. They got big wallets. They're not looking great right now. In fact, they're definitely the furthest behind. But we've seen what AT&T can do. Their LTE network speaks volumes on what they can do. So that's my sentiment on that, and we'll leave it ambient. But right now, I'm not too amped for T-Mobile's marketing.
Yeah, I think that's respectable, and they always poke fun at Verizon and AT&T and do their own thing. The bottom line here, we got to wait and see. I'm excited either way. And I think just want to quickly touch on your point earlier, Dennis. Like, I almost would have loved to have seen AT&T straight up not roll out 5G at all and just compared their LTE with like Verizon's low band 5G and T-Mobile's low band 5G and just completely smoked it.
That would have been hilarious,
right? Like we didn't get any like anti 5G marketing or like LTE versus 5G comparison. So,
and you know what's funny is if they did that, I think that would have had a big impression on the consumers.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we don't need 5G, and oh man. So either way, I think we should let's tie a nice little bow on this for now by ranking 5G networks as we see them today what we think they're going to be in 6 months, and then as early 2021 rolls around, we can revisit this topic. What do you think, Dennis? How would you rank current 5G deployments?
T-Mobile up top just because they have more availability, and N41 is meaningful. It is a meaningful improvement where T-Mobile is doing it. Then I would rank Verizon just because they do have access to more millimeter wave than AT&T does, or at the very least, AT&T is not disclosing where it is. And
it's actually, quick point here, it's impossible to find AT&T 5G. Like, you literally just wander around and hope you get it in your status bar.
And then AT&T's at the bottom just because, again, like, I don't know where it is.
We don't know where it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm connected to it in Pittsburgh, and it's fine, but, like,
Yeah. I 100% agree with you, Dennis. Where do you think we're going to be in 6 months with the networks? Verizon, AT&T are going to get their first parts of their C-band chunks. They're going to start testing those and deploying those. Where do you think the network's going to be 6 months from now?
I think T-Mobile will still have a lead in availability, but Verizon's network will very quickly reach parity with T-Mobile in the places that matter most. And I think AT&T is going to be a little bit behind, but it doesn't really matter because they have such a good LTE network.
I think I agree with that. I'm honestly not sure what AT&T's 5G rollout timeline is going to be. I don't know if it really matters to their network. They said in their keynote presentation it's at 70% capacity right now. Maybe they don't really need it. But yeah, I think either way we can move on. The good news is, as you mentioned, Dennis, now is an opportune time to build out 5G. It sounds like Verizon has been doing that. They had a news release go out on May 27th that they're now in more locations, and they listed some there, like the Jersey Shore, in across Delaware beaches, in Ocean City, Maryland, in Niagara Falls, New York. And Verizon, in my opinion, has one of the best coverage maps for truly outlining where their millimeter wave 5G is. So if you're interested in testing that out, then check out Verizon's post. I'll link it in the comments section right now for those of you who are joining us live. And we'll also include this in the podcast show notes if you just want to see if you get Verizon millimeter wave in your area. And yeah, I'm going to wait for Dennis to come back. Quick mid-roll bathroom break. This is a problem when you go live, guys. You have to commit. It's like a full send, all or nothing. We'll say if you want to enjoy listening to the podcast ad-free, consider joining the Patreon. It's over there. And I want to thank all of our existing Patreon supporters. We got extra content behind the scenes, and we love all of you. And also, there are emotes now in the chat. All right, Dennis is back, and we're back. Let's move on. Dennis, next topic. I'm thinking 5G home internet in more cities. Let's talk about Verizon's 5G home internet.
I've been impressed by it.
You have. What have you liked about it?
Well, it's actually usable.
Okay, what does that mean? Because we have T-Mobile home internet. I don't actually know if AT&T is a solution yet, but we've got those two as like the big ones right now. Like, what do you mean by usable?
Well, I mean, just like Sneed, right? Our good friend Sneed, we've seen his experience with T-Mobile internet, and I've been watching reviews about T-Mobile's home internet, and generally, it feels like a beta product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think Austin did a great job illustrating that, where he said if you restart the router, all your settings and preferences are completely reset and wiped off.
Right. Whereas Verizon's feels a little bit more refined, and in places where Verizon's letting you have it, I mean, it's by usable experience, I mean, like, it looks like you're getting like at least 50 megabits per second, which, I know that doesn't sound like crazy fast compared to probably a lot of people that listen to us, but that is a totally usable internet connection, especially if you're in like a rural part of America. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that's been cool. I like the box that they're doing it with. I think it just makes sense. And in the places where you're able to actually connect to millimeter wave with it, it's insane. It's
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a competition with fiber because fiber is the gold standard, but it's definitely cable-like. And that, you're getting those crazy fast download speeds, which is what most people care about, right? Most people are consumers, right? They're not content creators. And the upload speeds are also fairly usable. You're getting double digits, 10 megabits plus.
And upload, my understanding is correct, is still over LTE, right? Because
Right.
Verizon's they're not standalone 5G. So even with this 5G box and the amazing performance on the download side, you're still getting kind of slower upload speeds until that full core migration takes place. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. LT is still the anchor for the upload. That's correct.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but I mean, yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, I'll say this as always. I mean, if you have a cable option, I still think that having a fixed solution is better than a wireless solution, unless that cable provider is just like really terrible. Maybe they're really really expensive and you can't afford them, or maybe they are just poorly maintained in your area. You know, not every area has well maintained cable networks. Then it's a good option. It's a good alternative. It's competition. You know, even if it was a bad product, it's always good to have more choices in this very limited choice market. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think something that is almost underrated is the installation of one of these devices, right? So if you get it from T-Mobile, if you got T-Mobile 5G, or if you get Verizon 5G, you get your 5G modem. It's a little box. You pop your SIM card in it, or the SIM card comes pre-installed. You plug it in, you turn it on, you connect to it with an app on your phone or whatever, and within a couple taps, you're like kind of set up and ready to go. And there's no drilling involved. Like it's like a little box you plug in. It's like getting, I don't know, a good example might be like a game console, like a PlayStation. You'll plug it in, turn it on. Xbox, you plug it in, turn it on. Home internet, you plug it in, you turn it on, and you're pretty much good to go. And Dennis, how does this contrast your installation experience with getting fiber at your new home and actually getting coax again? How is this setup different? What did you go through for fiber?
You would ask me about my Fios install. It was not fun. The
So
tech,
wait, let me just you didn't just get a box and plug it in.
no. No, oh my god, it was honestly up there as one of like it was a pretty bad installation experience, but basically Verizon had to put an ONT on the outside back of my home, and then they needed to get power to it, so the guy literally had it drill into my house through my washing room to use the outlet that was in my washroom.
So
which is
let me get this straight. You've got a Verizon guy on site in your backyard. He's like, okay, we got to get power to this thing. So he takes a drill to your brand new sidewall of the outside of your house and just starts going at it, drilling through the wall. And then he breaks through and busts into your laundry room to use an outlet there.
Mm-hmm.
And so now is your laundry room just like extra drafty with this huge, like, it's probably not huge, but this like hole inside of it?
I mean, the hole's tiny. I mean, the power cable's only like this big, but like,
Okay.
but it's definitely not where I wanted it positioned. Like in my ideal world, the box would be inside in my garage basement, but I guess that wasn't doable. And then I have a temp fiber line that's running. I have a really good feeling that fiber line is going to get ran over by a construction vehicle, and I'm going to have no internet. But yeah, so the experience was definitely difficult and time consuming and stressful, because the guy actually called me before my appointment to ask if I could come up earlier, and I did, and he didn't come. And yeah, it was a stressful experience. We'll just put it that way. And then as far as Comcast or coax connections are concerned, I know you're not going to believe me when I say this, Stetson, but I have my own modem. Setting up my own modem is actually stupid easy. Like, it's not something that's difficult. As long as the house is like wired, like my apartment is, it's not hard. It's literally just screw anywhere there's a coax outlet and making sure it's connected.
Yeah.
Very, very stupid easy. So setting up cable, not that hard unless you need a tech, which obviously new house, going to need a tech. But it's an old standard, so it's not like it's something that's like revolutionary. You know, you don't need power to a coax outlet, right? Like, it's already being supplied from the node that the provider is using.
Yeah, exactly. That's so interesting, Dennis. So yeah, it wasn't you get a box, you plug it in. Funny enough, it sounds like coax, like what was it? You got Comcast again? Because you still have them, and you were just continuing that service and switching addresses. It sounds like that was almost easier than the fiber.
It definitely is, especially since Fios didn't use the conduit. They said, nope, we don't use that conduit. We're gonna do our own thing. Whereas Comcast is actually gonna use the like it's already pre-ran. Like the builder already laid like the RJ59 cable or whatever it is that Comcast uses through conduit, so it's already in place. All the tech has to do is just hook me up to the tap, and I should be rocking and rolling. Like, it is stupid easy. And that's one of the perks to an older tech. Obviously, there's downsides, right? Like, I'm not getting symmetrical speeds and all that exciting stuff. But if we're talking about ease of installation, it's not going to be rocket science here. Like, it's stupid easy.
Sure. All right. Well, so first of all, my condolences on the FiOS install. I was excited about that. You were excited about that. Not quite there yet. I'm happy you have the coax as a backup. If you had Verizon's 5G home internet as an option, would you consider that? I mean, would you have liked to have just gotten a box, plugged it in, and let's say you had millimeter wave coverage, been good to go? You still like that hardwired connection, don't you?
I mean, there's a few reasons why I mean, it's not just about hardwired. It comes down to like NAT too. Like wireless solutions like T-Mobile's home internet, Starlink, Verizon's home internet. I believe they use. I think the term is CGNAT. Without getting super nerdy, it can cause issues with like VPN clients. Obviously, I game. Latency inherently on wireless solutions just is not going to be as good. It's just too variable over like a properly maintained hardwire connection. And lastly, you saw the picture I showed you with my Ubiquiti Dream Machine Pro and stuff like that. I don't want to use like if I was using like Verizon's home internet solution, I'd have to use their provided like router
I see what you're saying. So Dennis, you're a power user. I think that's fair to say. You're an internet power user. But I think for a lot of people, Verizon's 5G home internet is becoming a viable option, a better option. And I think we should just kind of quickly go through some of the specs here. It's truly unlimited, no throttling. It's probably deprioritized. Do we know about that?
I don't know for certain, but I would assume.
I would assume so. That's probably like network management. They typically have to do that. And it's pretty decent speeds if you're in a millimeter wave coverage site, which again will be linked in the show notes. Video description is in the chat. You're averaging max download speeds 1 gigabit per second. Typical speeds 300 megabits per second. I think that's perfectly
emphasize
fine.
That is on millimeter wave though. Just
emphasize on millimeter wave. Is this available on nationwide? Oh God.
No, on LT it is.
On LT. Okay, I was like, oh no, those poor customers. I mean,
Sneed's using it on LT.
Okay. I think that probably is a location by location situation then. I think the congestion would be challenging in some markets. By the way? Cost it's actually pretty decent. So they're matching T-Mobile with some caveats. It's $50 a month for Verizon customers with qualifying mobile plans. Again, a little bit of a nudge to get customers onto those more premium unlimited plans. If you don't have one of those qualifying plans, you're looking at $70 a month. But what's nice is taxes and fees are actually included. I think this might be one of the only Verizon products.
There's no tax on internet at all. Internet's a non-tax. Like, whenever you see tax on your internet bill, that's only if you were renting equipment. But if you own your own stuff, like I have my own modem, when it says $59.99, I literally pay $59.99. There's no tax on internet.
So that makes a lot of sense. Verizon themselves are not taxed, and so they can't tax customers in that way.
I actually think there's a law that was passed in regards to that, but I won't get too into that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And they have quote unquote cool freebies. Their customers get a free Stream TV device. I'm not actually sure what that is. They're getting Discovery Plus for 12 months.
It's an Android. It's basically a Google Chromecast. It's like an Android TV.
Discovery Plus for 12 months, Sling TV for 2 months. And new customers also get a Samsung Chromebook 4 on us so they can work, learn, and stream smarter right from home, all with the power of 5G ultra wideband. Verizon will cover up to $500 in early termination fees for customers who are leaving. And you get $100 off your bill for a limited time. Get $100 of credit towards your bill when you buy a 5G home internet device online. And yeah,
those are some good freebies.
Good freebies, good perks, and good benefits. How do you think this compares with T-Mobile? Is it better? Is T-Mobile?
Oh, definitely.
We got a hands down definite, no hesitation.
Oh yeah, no, we already talked about this. Like T-Mobile's like a beta product. Like they've went through 2 gateways, each having their own unique problems with the Nokia one and the LTE one. Our good friend Austin on the show told us about how if you reset the thing, it loses all its settings that you configured for the router. Like definitely a more well fleshed out product. And the freebies are also definitely better. I mean, the Chromebook, it's not a power laptop, but it's totally usable. I mean, have you ever used a Chromebook, Stetson?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're not bad, right?
They get the job done. They're perfect. You're banging away at an article or, I don't know, watching YouTube, doing what people do. Perfect.
And the free stream thing, like I said, it's literally just a box that has Android OS on it, which, you know me, I love Android OS. So sign me up. And then Sling TV, I mean, hey, you like live channels? Sling got a good selection. Cool. And what was the last thing you said that was a perk? Oh, $100 credit towards your bill? So, yeah, that's awesome. And they cover the other termination fees. I don't think T-Mobile does that. So all across the board, definitely a better offer. I don't know if it's worth $70 though.
Yeah, I think 50 is much more reasonable. I mean, you'd probably want to go with a wired connection if you're paying $70 a month. And
I mean, at $70 a month, you could get legit gigabit internet. Like,
yeah, I mean, depends on your location, but yeah, 100%. Like, there's no way I would get that. I just want to see, do we know what the gateway costs?
Do you have to buy the gateway?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's kind of what I was trying to see.
I thought it was a rental.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just like, because I think T-Mobile just includes it. Like, you just get it and you return it when you're done.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a rental piece of equipment that's included in the price. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. We'll go with that with probably like an 80 to 90% confidence rating. That is Verizon Home Internet. Dennis, what else do we have on the show today?
Well, I want to ask you, Stetson, real fast. If Verizon had a millimeter wave site outside your door, would you sign up for the Verizon Home Internet?
I feel like I'd have to try it, and it would depend on the price. So I'm in a Verizon family plan with, of course, a friendly fellow I met on Reddit, as one does. And if I'm in there and it's $50 a month and I'm getting millimeter wave, like gigabit per second speeds down, I would probably consider it. The struggle would be the upload and what that performance is. And that would potentially be the deal breaker for me. I'm considering testing out T-Mobile as well. I love trying these kind of things. I feel like with a cell phone based channel, it makes sense. And again, with the included plan, if my Reddit fam was okay with it, $50 is totally like it's lower cost than what we're paying now. So I'd be okay with the savings.
I'll tell you where this would be a good fit for power users. It wouldn't be a good primary connection, but I could totally see it being used as like a backup connection. Like,
okay,
you got your Ubiquiti Dream Machine Pro, you got your main WAN port for your fiber connection or your home fixed solution, and you plug that in as a secondary connection, go into the router they provide to turn off the DHCP and stuff like that. So your Dream Machine Pro does all the networking. I can see it as a good backup fallback connection, especially since it has a backup battery inside, I believe, right? Doesn't it come with a backup battery?
We'd need to talk with a subject matter expert. I mean, we're gonna have to consult with Sneed on that one. We do have updates though. Carlos S Tech, shout out to Carlos, is saying Verizon includes the modem in the cost of the price. We have 100% confirmation on that. And millimeter wave upload speeds are typically around 100 megabits per second. Honestly, I upload a lot of content. I would want a little bit faster speeds. I think if I gave it a try though and it was $50, I'd honestly probably be okay with it.
I mean, honestly, Stetson, if you had a 100 meg upload, I don't think you're going to notice that much of a difference, to be honest.
I think you're right. I mean, I do back up a lot to Google Drive, and it's nice and satisfying when that goes very quickly. But I think you're 100% correct, Dennis. Like, for our streaming of the podcast, for the after show, for uploading videos to YouTube, social media, I wouldn't notice a difference.
Dude, just to run the point home, I'm talking to you with 10 megabits per second upload.
Dennis is on 10 megs right now. I think you look great, Dennis. So I'd be fine. I'd be fine. And yeah, let's kind of round this show off. I think one more thing we wanted to touch on here that this caught me by surprise. And the truth is I didn't see it until I was researching for the show. Headline reads, Verizon is your home for the best entertainment, now with Apple Arcade and Google Play Pass on us. This was announced on May 24th, 2021. And they kind of outline what Apple Arcade is. I'm trying to see like what's included. Like, how is this? Okay, to choose the perfect, it looks like it's included with one of their qualifying plans.
It's included with the get more and play more.
Yeah, it's It's actually, I think, just Play More is what I'm seeing now. Are you seeing it for? Oh, it's on Get More. That's my mistake. I don't know, Dennis. How do you feel? So Apple Arcade is included for 12 months on Play More. Google Play Pass for 12 months on Play More. Get More is also just 12 months. Like, it's not actually included anywhere. What are your thoughts? What's the feels on this? We have a shrug.
I mean, it's another perk like Discovery Plus. Like, in the same vein that Discovery Plus is like, it's free. You know, I took it and I started watching like Mythbusters on it. Like, okay, Apple Arcade. But like,
whoop-de-doo, I guess.
I mean, like, I don't know. I don't game on my phone. Like I game, but I game on my PC, keyboard, mouse, right? Like, if I'm out and about, I'm probably busy getting my phone blown up with text messages from you or work or whatever else. I don't got time to play on my phone, nor is that the experience that I want. And mobile games that I'm aware of are stuff like Flappy Bird. Like,
yeah.
You know, like,
I think, Dennis, I think the truth is, I'm speaking for myself here. Maybe you resonate a little bit with this. I feel like I just kind of outgrew Apple Arcade. Like, it didn't come at the right time for me. If I was in high school right now, this would be a dream come true. Okay, Apple Arcade games, I've heard they're actually pretty nice. They're well made. Some indie developers putting a lot of time and thought and love into them. And if I was in high school, we'd have like a 30 to 45 minute drive to school. We're not going very far, but with all the stops, it just takes a while. So I could be gaming on there. We had breaks during the day at free periods. Everyone would whip out. It was their iPod Touch at the time and be gaming on that. So, and then on the ride home, if I was in high school, I think this would be sweet. Right now, I actually do have Apple Arcade Plus. Is it Arcade Plus? No, just Apple Arcade. And I've never even opened one of the games. So for me, this isn't a big W. Do you think this is going to get people to upgrade?
If someone upgrades because of this, I would question their rationale behind it, because like, we always make let me rephrase that. If they watch our channel and upgrade because of this, I would really question if they actually watch us, because like, there's just so many better ways to do it. Like, we talked about all the great prepaid plans on Verizon, right? Like, there's way better options out there. And if you really want that Apple Play or whatever it's called, there's cheaper ways to do it. Like, I don't think this should be your reason to upgrade to like a Play More plan. You should actually have a real benefit. You have to be a power user, someone that needs the priority data or something. Like, this is not it.
To me, this kind of indicates that Verizon's service isn't selling the plans. Like, they feel obligated to add more so people like want to get it for some reason. But yeah, I mean,
I disagree with that sentiment.
You disagree? You think the plans like can still hold their own?
I think that Verizon's network can still hold their own. Like I said, when it comes to mindshare, Verizon still has that respect for the general consumer. And I think this is more to do with like T-Mobile shenanigans with like the Netflix on Us and the other freebies they try to do. And in the same way that AT&T's got the perks going on with HBO Max. I mean, I honestly would rather them took that $6 or $5 respectively and put it into, say, more hotspot data or 1080p video streaming or some other perk that would identify that value. But I mean, look, any additional value to the consumer is great. I'm definitely not the target market. You're not the target market. And most adults that are going to be buying priority premium plans, I don't think are the target market. Like, this would be good for little Stetson when he was 12 if his parents decided to sign up for that plan. But like, I doubt Stetson's parents bought that plan because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, this is just so funny to me. It's like, you know, you're comparing plans. You're like, all right, what do I switch to? Oh, well, you know, I've got epic service, great fast speeds and performance on AT&T. Oh, but Verizon, I'm getting the freebies. Like, I just hope people are not evaluating their cell phone plan purchase based on the included perks. Like, get the service that works for you, then get the perks separately. And these only last a year. Like, they expire after a year and then they're gone. I don't know. It just,
I mean, Apple Music was better. Like having Apple Music is definitely better.
They still do have that, and that is included with Get More, 6 months on Play More, 6 months on Start Unlimited.
And I'll also just say though, honestly, like if I could have Verizon scrap all their like perks at the moment, the way I would replace it is as follows. I would do the Hulu, Disney Plus ESPN bundle. That's definitely great.
I do love that.
That's awesome. And then under that, instead of having Apple Music, I would do Spotify.
Oh, that would be such a power move.
And then that's all you need. Like you do
Man.
that, like call it a day. Like you got a lot more people that way. Those are way more recognizable, usable things, in my opinion.
Well, Verizon is in bed with Apple when Han Vesper gets up on the stage of the iPhone 12 announcement and does this whole 5G spiel. Like, there is some serious relationships going on there. So,
can I just
yeah,
I just want to say though, all jokes aside, because I do see a couple comments. Like, I only bust Verizon shops a little bit, but like in all sincerity, to everybody that is listening, and this is more direct about some of the comments I'm seeing, no one should be picking their plan based off perks. And I think the most important thing that it always comes down to is what coverage looks like in the places that matter to you first and foremost.
yeah.
Then you look at the plan and making sure that it meets your needs. Then evaluate costs, and perks are always just icing on the cake.
I 100% agree and support your statement, Dennis. I think the purpose of a cell phone plan is to provide connectivity. Like, you want the plan to perform as a plan should. It's not a streaming service. It's not a gaming service. It's not your music or entertainment service. It is your connection to the world. You want that to be reliable. You want that to be fast, and you want that to work for your needs. So yeah, please get the plan that works for you. If you like the perks, great. If you don't get perks, fine. And I think, hot take, what the major carriers should do is like scrap the pre-assigned bundles, do what US Mobile is doing, and be like, hey, pick your perk, we'll reimburse you for the service.
That is hands down the best, but it's never going to happen. But here's a different hot take. I would love to see carriers offer a cheaper so for example, I wish AT&T would come out one day and be like, you know what? Instead of us charging $85 for unlimited elite, let's charge $60 and just subtract the perks. Just subtract HBO Max. That's $15 off right there, right?
Yeah.
And then what are the other perks with it, right? What are some other things that we can whittle down that gets the cost down? I feel like that would be really dope.
I mean, as someone who advocates and values more affordable plans, I would love to see that. But we all know the carriers are just trying to drive their average revenue per user up, their ARPU up. They're trying to push people to these premium plans. Like, we are getting these shoved down our throats. The marketing is everywhere. Free this, free that. Get your streaming on.
Yeah, but it's never free. You're actually paying for it. Like that's the thing. Like, I mean, granted, I've come out and said this on multiple occasions. I think AT&T Unlimited Elite's the best unlimited plan, in my opinion. Like, for the cost, the value, and everything that you get with it, because I do like HBO Max, in my opinion, it's the best. Yeah. Magenta Max is also up there, right? But like, I think it would be interesting to see a reduced cost version of like this elite plan, you know, that doesn't have HBO Max, or I can't think of what else is in there at the moment. My brain is having like a moment, but
it's like call blocking. Like, I'm not even sure what they would pare down exactly. HBO Max is the big one. Would HBO Max and these other perks feel like perks if there's an option of the plan that is just cheaper and doesn't include them? Like, wouldn't that make, like, why am I'm just bundling it in with the service? Like, I could just get them separate and it would be the same price.
I mean, I would take the opposite approach. Look at old school cable industry. You know, they had bundles galore with all these different TV packages and lines like that, and some of them had like Netflix included, and some of them had HBO included, and it still felt good. And when you did like if you did the cost of buying like HBO Max separately, you end up still having like quote unquote savings. So I mean, you could still spin it in that way. Like, if the elite plan, let's just say the elite plan with no HBO was only say $10 cheaper, right?
Yeah.
Well, then, if you were going to be someone that wanted HBO, then you're saving $5, right? You're getting the premium HBO. You're saving $5. You could spin it in that light, but for the other people that don't want bundling, they want that freedom to choose. It's a good extra option. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that. It's definitely challenging though, because of course, unlimited extra comes in at $75, and that would be unlimited elite without HBO. I don't know.
I mean,
it depends.
Or they could just improve extra. Get rid of the 40p standard definition cap.
Yeah. So I think that's it though. I think that's what I got for the show. Dennis, do you have any hot takes or closing remarks?
No hot takes for this podcast, but stay tuned for the after show where we will be talking and answering a lot of your questions, and everything will be extra spicy.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone who joined us today. I want to thank the Patreon supporters who are supporting us. If you're interested, you can check out the link in the show notes. We really do appreciate it. Extra perks, behind-the-scenes content. You get to vote on the next video that comes out, and you get the ad-free version of the podcast. I want to thank people who are currently supporting us, and if you're interested, again, check that out. Either way, that's going to be it. I'm Stetson.
And I'm Dennis.
And we look forward to talking to you in the next one and in the after show. So stay tuned for that.
Peace.
Peace.